In this video, we review an option for Azure multi-factor authentication without the Microsoft Authenticator app. Hello everyone, I'm Travis and this is Raltos. Everyone should use multi-factor authentication to protect work and personal accounts. Using a second factor for authentication significantly decreases the chances of an account getting compromised by phishing attempts or password leaks. Azure AD and Microsoft 365 accounts are heavily tied to the Microsoft Authenticator app for multi-factor authentication, leveraging an app on your mobile device to act as a software token. It's not uncommon in parts of the United States to use personal devices like cell phones for work. In other countries and even some states in the US, employers can't require employees to use personal devices for work. So how does a company require multi-factor authentication without forcing employees to use the Microsoft Authenticator app on their cell phones or buy them a company phone? One solution is a hardware token like the Yubico Yubikey. In this video, we're going to review hardware tokens as an alternative to the Microsoft Authenticator app and walk through the onboarding process to enable MFA without the Microsoft Authenticator app or a cell phone. Although this video demonstrates a Yubico token, there are other products on the market that provide similar functionality. Before that, please subscribe, share, and click the bell icon to get notifications of new content. If you'd like to try Yubico yourself, please help this channel by using the affiliate link below. Your support is greatly appreciated. For this video, I wanted a solution that the end users could implement with little or no administrative action. To be clear, this is not about passwordless authentication with a FIDO2 key, although that is possible with the hardware tokens used in this example. For this video, I'm referring to an alternative to the Microsoft Authenticator app, something that end users could purchase and implement on their own if they wanted, or could be inexpensively purchased and given to employees to use. I found a solution with the Yubico 4 or 5 series keys. With these keys, users can self-register the hardware token for multi-factor authentication to an Azure or Microsoft 365 account. The ability to use hardware tokens for MFA is enabled by default in Azure AD. We just need a Yubico and the Yubico Authenticator app. The Yubico Authenticator app is available for Windows, Mac, Android, iOS, and Linux. Azure AD supports OAuth, time-based one-time password, or OATH-TOTP, an open standard that specifies how one-time password codes are generated. The Microsoft Authenticator app is a software OAuth token. With the steps in this video, we're going to replace the Microsoft Authenticator app with a hardware token. The Yubico Authenticator app is different from the Microsoft Authenticator app because with the Yubico app, the hardware token holds the secrets, not the app. Because the Yubico holds the secret elements, the secrets are not tied to any specific phone or computer. You can access secrets on a computer with a USB port or an NFC-enabled mobile device. There are a small number of requirements to get started with OAuth tokens. In Azure MFA service settings, verification codes for mobile app and hardware tokens has to be enabled. You'll need the Yubico Authenticator app. There are versions available for just about every OS, and it's available in the Microsoft Store, so you can install it without administrative permissions. You'll need a Yubico 5 or 4 series device. I'll include a link below with details. As I said before, there are other hardware tokens that can be used for this process. I'm using a Yubico for this example. Don't forget the affiliate link below. I should also point out that support for OAuth hardware tokens is in public preview in Azure AD at the time of this recording. Let's get started with enabling MFA for a user. First, the user has to have MFA enforced. If you're on the free tier of Azure AD, this can be done by enabling security defaults, or it can be enabled per user by going to Users in the Azure AD portal. Then go to Per User MFA. Find the user and change the MFA option to Enable. Also, while we're in here, go to Service Settings. Make sure that the verification code from the mobile app or hardware token is enabled. If that's not enabled, we can't use the hardware token. If you have Azure AD Premium P1 or P2, the better option is to create a conditional access policy that enforces MFA. Now that we have a user that requires MFA, we can onboard them. Let's install the Yubico Authenticator app next. From the client computer, go to the Microsoft Store and download the Authenticator app. There are other installer packages available, but I'm using the store because it doesn't require local admin permissions. And of course, if you're on a different OS, use whatever store is available. Once finished, open the Authenticator app. Plug in the Yubikey into the USB port. The app also supports near-field communication if your device supports that. If the key is new, it'll show no new accounts. You can use multiple accounts with a key. Next, we need to register the device for MFA in Azure AD. Open a web browser and go to myapplications.microsoft.com. Sign in the user we enabled for MFA. Test2 user 2 in this example. MFA is required but not configured. We'll get a request for more information. Let's walk through the onboarding process. In the Microsoft Authenticator window, click the link to use a different Authenticator app. If you don't see this link, make sure that your MFA settings are configured to allow hardware tokens. Click Next until the QR code is visible. Keep this code visible on the screen during the next step. Also, and this is important, if you want to create a backup key, you'll need this QR code. Take a screenshot of the code and save it. If you don't have this QR code, you can't create a backup OAuth hardware token. Back in the Yubico Authenticator app, be sure your key is inserted and click Add to add an account. This adds the Azure AD or M365 account to the Yubico Authenticator app. Notice that Require Touch is optional. We'll click Add. Double-click the account. If you required touch, you have to touch the key to see the code for the next step. That will copy the code to the clipboard. Now we go back to the Azure AD login webpage. Click Next and enter the code that was copied to the clipboard. Click Next. Now we're done. Let's close the window and test the login experience. Here we are in a new window. Let's go to myapplications.microsoft.com. We'll sign in with that same account. We'll enter the first factor, the password. And now we have to enter the code from the Authenticator app. So we'll go back to the app, double click on the account, and if you enabled touch the Yubikey. They'll copy the code to the clipboard, and we just paste it in. And no, we don't want to stay signed in. That gets you to the My Application site, logged into Azure with the second factor. For the stated goal, this solution works well. It provides a second factor for Azure AD and Microsoft 365 accounts that does not require a cell phone. I don't like that we have to copy and paste the code from the Yubico app at login, but it's not that much more difficult than unlocking my cell phone and approving a sign-in request. There's another option that uses the FIDO2 protocol for passwordless authentication. I plan on getting more information out about that in the near future, so be sure to subscribe. One question I had going into this is, what if the token gets lost or stolen? For one thing, the user will not be able to log in. An administrator can revoke the token and issue a temporary access pass so they can log in and register a new device. This is the same process if a cell phone within Microsoft Authenticator app got lost or stolen. It's recommended that the users have a backup device. Adding a second device with an OAuth token is not as easy as the primary. We have to use the same QR code as the primary key when we register the backup token. If you don't have the QR code, you need to remove the existing token and start over again. If somebody was to steal or find the key, they would have one factor to log into the account, but the account requires multiple factors. Having the key alone will not give them access. They'd need the key, the username, and the password. We did a user self-enrollment for this video. There's also an option to do a bulk enrollment of users with a CSV file, a good option for large-scale deployments. I hope this helps you understand an alternative to the Microsoft Authenticator app to support multi-factor authentication without a cell phone. Thanks for watching.